Prime Deion Sanders wins SWAC Coach of the Year. I'm going to talk about it and why that will probably be the last time Coach Prime wins SWAC Coach of the Year after the bumper. Stay tuned. What's good, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, because we upload every single day. Now, today we're here to talk about the SWAC Player of the Year Awards, the SWAC Awards that includes Coach of the Year, which was handed out to Jackson State's very own Coach Prime Deion Sanders. I'm going to share with you my screen, an article from HBCU Gameday. Shout out to HBCU Gameday. I love the work that they do over there. And this is talking about the Players of the Years. Now, Offensive Player of the Year award went to Aqeel Glass of Alabama A&M. He had 3,500 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, and 356 yards per game, which all led the SWAC this season. And he had a 160.8 passing efficiency rating. Aqeel Glass is a high-level player. I think Aqeel Glass is good enough to play on Sundays at the quarterback position. He is that high level of a player. Alabama A&M had somewhat of a disappointing year this year after winning the spring championship of the SWAC, but Aqeel Glass still walks away with the Offensive Player of the Year award. Defensive Player of the Year award goes to Florida A&M's Isaiah Land. Isaiah Land was a beast. 19 sacks, 25 and a half tackles for loss. Defensive Player of the Year, including a 5-sack game against Celebration Bowl participant South Carolina State, who will go against the winner of the SWAC championship. Isaiah Land had 5 sacks against them. It could be a big day for James Houston if Deion Sanders and the Jackson State Tigers make it to the Celebration Bowl. But Isaiah Land is the Defensive Player of the Year. The Newcomer of the Year, speaking of James Houston, he was awarded the Newcomer Player of the Year in the SWAC, the transfer from Florida, who was a linebacker that converted to defensive end. He finishes the season with 20 and a half tackles for loss, which was a negative 125 yards. So he took 125 yards away from opposing teams of Jackson State with his 20 and a half tackles for loss. Then he added an extra 14 and a half sacks for another negative 102 lost yards, not to mention his 7 forced fumbles, his 2 fumble recoveries, and a fumble recovery that led to a defensive touchdown. James Houston was a beast all year. Freshman of the Year goes to none other than Shedeur Sanders of Jackson State. Shedeur Sanders is also a finalist for the Jerry Rice Award, which is one of the best players in the FCS Conference. He finished the season just under 3,000 yards. Now, he still has 2 games left. So this is prior to the SWAC championship game and the Celebration Bowl game. He still has 2 games left, but he has 2,900 yards passing, which is second in the SWAC, 28 touchdowns, which is second in the SWAC, and only 5 interceptions. He averaged 270 yards passing a game, which is also second in the SWAC, all second to Aqeel Glass, and he led Jackson State to a perfect 8-0 record in the SWAC, and they are headed back to, as I mentioned earlier, the SWAC championship game for the first time since 2013. In a game they'll play against Prairie View A&M. And then the Coach of the Year, the one that you all been waiting for, Coach Prime Deion Sanders led the Jackson State Tigers to a 10-1 record, one of the best records in the history of their program, a perfect 8-0 mark in the SWAC. This is coming from HBCU Gameday. Under Sanders' leadership, the Tigers are currently ranked in the top 15 in the FCS Coaches Poll and are also ranked in the top 25 of the Stats FCS Poll. The Tigers claimed the SWAC East Division title for the first time since 2013. For his efforts, Deion Sanders has been named a finalist for the Stats Performance FCS Eddie Robertson Award, which is the FCS Coach of the Year Award. Now, here is the significance of this. Deion Sanders, it's perfect that he won Coach of the Year in the SWAC because I do not believe he will get another chance to win this award. And you're like, wow, Jeff, I mean, Jackson State, hell, Shedeur is going to be there at least 2 more years. Jackson State is going to be prominent for however long, hopefully it's forever, but for however long Deion Sanders is there. Why do you believe he won't win too many more Coaches of the Years? Well, here's why, and I'll tell you why. from this moment moving forward. It might have been from day one, but it depends on who you are. I didn't know. I knew it wasn't going to be from day one, but from this moment, for sure, from this moment moving forward, Deion Sanders, Jackson State will always be the favorite, not just in the SWAC East, but will always be the favorite to win the SWAC. And so therefore, as long as you're the favorite, it is very, very hard to win Coach of the Year. Let me repeat that. As long as you are the favorite, it is very, very hard, very, very difficult to win Coach of the Year. Why? Because they feel like your team is so talented. They feel like your team is so loaded. They feel like you are already good enough, and we do not owe you Coach of the Year when you have the best team, when you have the best roster, when you have the best coaches, when you have the best quarterback, period. Because moving forward, unless there's another kill glass in the pipeline somewhere, Jackson State will have the best recruiter, that's Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, will have the best quarterback, that is Shedeur Sanders, will have the best coaching staff, Dennis Thurman, TC Taylor, etc., will always have the best recruits, because of Coach Prime, and will always have the best leadership, once again, due to Coach Prime. And so you add that with all the talent that they bring in. I mean, hell, they had the number one player in the country on their campus, Travis Hunter. 2 weeks ago, they had the number one player in the country, not the number one player in Mississippi, not the number one player in Florida, not the number one player in the region, in the southern region. No, we're talking about the number one player in the country was on the campus of Jackson State University. That alone tells you how big time Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson State, Coach Prime, how big time they are right now. And if somehow, some way, they are able to flip Travis Hunter, who was a Florida guy, who was committed to Florida State, the alum, who Deion Sanders is an alumni of, able to flip Travis Hunter from Florida State to Jackson State. Come on now. He's not going to win Coach of the Year getting guys like that. Unless he goes out and just simply dominates the SWAC, simply dominates teams. And these teams are going to have too much pride to just let Coach Prime, Jackson State beat them by 40 every week, right? Like even Alabama, as good as they are and as many championships they've won, they struggle when they play their rivals. They struggle when they play Auburn. They just went to 4 overtimes. They struggle when they play LSU. They struggle with LSU. They struggle when they play these really good teams, even when they're the overwhelming favorite. So it's going to be super tough for Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, to get the recognition and the love from the other coaches in winning an award like Coach of the Year. And that's why I said this is the first and possibly his last time winning Coach of the Year when he's always going to be the favorite. But hey, he will take championships, SWAC championships and Celebration Bowl championships over Coach of the Year in recruiting championships. Let's not sleep on recruiting championships too, going out and getting dope, really, really good high-level football players, and NFL draft championships in his mind. He said, I want to be a champion in all aspects. Academic championships over Coach of the Years any day. And this is just the beginning. So shout out to Coach Prime, winning Coach of the Year. Shout out to all the winners of the SWAC regular season awards, Akil Glass, Isaiah Land, James Houston, and Shedeur Sanders. Shout out to all of them. But this is the first and quite possibly the last time we see Coach Prime win the Coach of the Year in the SWAC. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow me on Instagram at JLightsy7. That is at JLightsy7. Or on Facebook at Jeff Lightsy Sports. That is at Jeff Lightsy Sports. I post content on there all the time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace.